What up?
Okay.
You know, it's ShaH Evans. I'm here with Mr. Lester Moore. Lester, could you please introduce yourself for these fine people?
My name is Lester Moore. First and foremost, I guess I would like people know that I'm a husband and a father, and I just happen to work for the Madison Police Department, and I've been working there for it's been 21 years now. So I'm on the downswing, man. About 4 more years. I'm gonna lay it all down.
Man, 25 years. That's a long time to be a cop, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's a long
actually,
time to do anything.
I started in '96. I worked out in North Carolina for a few years. So I've been doing it since '96.
Mm,
So yeah,
it's a long
52
time,
years
man.
old this year.
You don't look it though. You
Well, you
look
know what
like you're
they
still
say,
in your
man.
40s.
You
Yeah, I
know what they
know.
say. It don't crack, brother. It don't crack.
I dig it. I dig it. I dig it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, there's obviously people who follow me always say something along the lines of what you just said. They see me
Mhm,
working, they see the message, and yeah, I work my butt off, but it's
mhm,
opportunities that people provide me that I have this saying that if someone opens up the door, it's my job to knock it off the hinges so it can never close again.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely. No,
and what people always think there's some kind of negative message when you work with a police department. You don't have to work with a police
mhm,
department and be informant. You can work with the police
mhm.
department and try to bring about change. And
Yes.
um, the first time people may not know, the first time we linked up is because I wanted hip hop back in the city, and they
Yes.
brought you,
Yeah.
they brought you in as someone to be connected with from the police department aspect. And at first, I assume they put you in there because they were like, well, it's hip hop. Let's just throw the black officer in there. Let's throw the detective in there. But you actually, you actually cared. You actually
Yeah.
wanted to see something happen. And then from there was, well, you should speak over here and you should speak over there. And I
Mhm,
think
mhm.
the biggest door that got opened to me for speaking wise is when you brought me to UW. And
Yeah.
that changed the game for me. Many people couldn't say no to me after that. Like, what was your
Mhm,
reasoning? Because if the
mhm,
university is letting me come in and speak to people, well,
mhm.
so that was a
Oh
big
yeah.
door. So I mean, that's and to you, it wasn't taking a chance. To you, it was just like, well, I got this young man that could do some things, and he's bringing the same message as me, but it's from a different
Mhm,
side and different angle.
mhm,
So
mhm.
why not do that? And so for you, it seemed it may not have been nothing, but for me, it changed the game. And so kudos to you for that and thank you for that. But
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
it's important that people know that you can bring about change while working within the
Mhm,
system.
mhm.
And it leads me to why I asked you to speak. Also shout out, whoever whoever you had to speak with that was cool with this, because I
Yeah.
know today's society, you don't see very many officers able to speak out on their own, or maybe they're just choosing not to speak out.
Mhm,
Maybe they don't want to be
mhm,
caught up in that mix. So kudos to
mhm.
whoever gave you that permission. That was
Yeah.
your boss, and then kudos to you for even being willing to ask. So
Yeah.
again, I appreciate that, man, so much. So I guess where I want to dive in is there's a lot of misconceptions about officers,
Mhm,
and I want to see if we could start a dialogue that might trickle down to maybe have a trickle down effect, and maybe be able to bridge the gap outside of just hearing the chief of police or hearing
mhm,
some
mhm.
commander. People want to talk to the everyday working officers that got to go out in
Mhm.
the community, and
Yeah.
they want to be able to ask questions, and they have concerns, and they definitely want to
Mhm,
understand um the sides of it from the police department and the everyday working cop. But
yeah.
we definitely
Yeah.
want to hear what our officers that happen to be people of color as well,
Mhm,
have to
mhm,
say about everything going on, and maybe break down some different things on how we could go about being better, but also what officers can do to also be better. That's kind of where I want to take this at start and then kind of go from there. So my first question to you, Lester, is what are your thoughts about some of the videos that you're seeing that you have individuals being I'm trying to think of the correct terminology, but officers involved with shootings or homicides, more specifically, you know, the situation that just happened with the officer kneeling on this man's neck, basically. What are your initial thoughts on that as a person and as a cop?
Man, I gotta go back, man. This started for me like a long time ago, even before I got into law enforcement, because I'm from the age of Rodney King.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like those were like we all knew this stuff was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like we, you know, as young black men, we all had our experiences with the police. You can't be a young brother not, I think, in this country, you know, with the history between the black community and the police department and police departments all over is like it's a bad history. So, you know, when we saw Rodney King, the country was like appalled, but we already knew that was going on. But it was the first time somebody actually caught it on video, and we could say, man, we told y'all, you know. And so it was like, it all started for me then. And then, you know, some of the things that happened over the country, like the one that really got to me, man, like they all got to me, but the one that really got to me was Eric Garner. Eric Garner, man, that one, like, that broke my heart because, you know, the one thing that officers don't want to do, they don't want to armchair quarterback anybody in what they do. But man, I'm like, because the way I work, you know, when I, you know, let me back up. You know, it's an interesting, like life that we live with, like officers of color live, because, you know, first and foremost, you were black before you put on the uniform. And the uniform is like something that you wear in your job that you do. And this is the way we should be seeing it. It's something that you wear in the job that you do that helps you take care of your family. It's what you do. It's not what you are, you know? And so for me, it's like, it gave me opportunities. Like when I saw that in my experiences, I was like, you know, I never liked the police growing up. Like I was like a Public Enemy fan, you know. We were rocking that F the police, like, you know, and we had like valid concerns about that, you know. And I was the president of the Organization for African American Culture on my college campus. The college police chief of the police department and the coach that was the sponsor for our organization took a whole bunch of us young brothers and sisters to see Farrakhan speak in Houston. And I was like, I had never been in a place where a bunch of us were together and it was so quiet and was no music playing. And we was listening to this brother talk. And it was like taking it all. It was like a whole new world had opened up for me. It was like stuff that I didn't know about me as a person of color. And like my you know, the DNA that was the greatness that was in my DNA. But all that aside, you know, I had these positive experiences, I had these negative experiences, and then, you know, I got invited to do a ride along, and I was like, this is something I want to do. So when I got into it, man, I was like, I had an idea of how I wanted to do things. And then I got with a couple of officers that really like showed me about the community policing part of it, just talking to people and reaching out. And I, you know, and it just made so much sense to me. Like, this is where I need to be, and this is what I need to be doing in order to like keep people that I care about safe, people in our community safe, and then teach other people how to interact with people in our community. Because the way we do it, we do as people of color is different. You know, it's special. It's like there's something so. I mean, we know it's special because it's often copied. You know what I'm saying? All over the flow. It's something so special about what we do, and that if you don't have any experiences with us, you know, you are going to have a hard time like connecting with us. So like seeing Eric Garner and that part, man, it's like I had to put myself in the officer's place and say, man, if Eric Garner was on the block where I was working, he would have been my friend, you know, because he's like this big dude on the block, sees everything, knows everything, and probably wants to keep his community safe because his kids live there. And yeah, he got a hustle selling cigarettes. Big deal. You know, that to me, I could have been like, hey, bro, you know, like, can you be out here on Tuesday and Thursday instead of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Because they don't want you out here every day. But, you know, hey, and by the way, you got this warrant. So let's figure out a way how we can take care of that. You know, I know you're trying to feed your kids. So let's figure out a way that we can get you in and get you out. You know, you call me, you let me know when you want to take care of that. And I just see that, I don't know, man. To me, it's like, it was heartbreaking. I mean, I must have like lost a lot of sleep because of that, because I could see how that could have been such a better situation if they had have taken the time to get to know this dude and develop a relationship with him, and you could like work with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's on a block. He don't need to be your informant or anything, but I'm sure he's got concerns and stuff that's going on that he don't want to see in his community, that we can say, okay, let's take care of this. How do you think we can better do this? You know, just bringing people in, like, and talking to people. Like, we had a discussion at one point about why, you know, officers are having so many problems working in communities of color. And to me, it's like, you got to bring in the people in the communities that have issues with you, and you got to ask them, what is the issue and how we can fix it. And, you know, no disrespect to the University of Wisconsin, but, you know, white University of Wisconsin professors can't give you that perspective. You know, they can give you like book knowledge, but you want to have the raw perspective of the people that you talk to and see every day. They're going to tell you. If you ask them, they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
And so many times I've asked people, how you think we can do this better? And they'll tell you. And then sometimes you get a chance to tell them, you know, about what you do and some of the parameters that you have to work within. Because a lot of times people don't understand the parameters that we have to work in. You know, they don't understand that there are some things that we have discretion over, and there's some things that we don't have discretion over. And if we don't make arrests, like domestics, we have no discretion. Like, if we find probable cause on a domestic issue, we have to make an arrest.
Yeah.
And if we don't, we could lose our job. You know, first and foremost, I got to feed these kids. They got to have shoes. They got to, you know what I'm saying? You know. So it's like, but then once you explain that, you say, I don't have a choice. I can't use discretion here. You know, I don't have a choice. I have to make an arrest if I find probable cause. There's sometimes where, you know, if you don't find probable cause, then you take the time to give advice and say, hey, you know, if you believe that this is going to be an ongoing issue, maybe you need to separate yourself for a while. And then that way you won't find yourself, you know, in the criminal justice system. You know, so there are all kinds of opportunities as officers to be able to make a difference. And it doesn't, because you meet people at point of crisis. People call police when they have a problem they feel like they can't solve. You know, when officers aren't doing proactive work, like, they call you and say, hey, we got this problem that we need the police to come and help us solve. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
You get to. It's not that you have to. You get to come, and you get to like help people. Like, and you see people at their worst, and then there's things that you can do.